Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about online classes. I know at least for my school a lot of classes are switching to be online for fall semester because of COVID, so I figure that a lot of people might be in the same situation, and I just want to share my tips for how to succeed in online classes. So the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is having a planner. I, of course, don't have mine available right now. It's over there, but you guys have seen it a million times before. I've talked about it again and again, but it doesn't really matter what kind of planner you have. I use an Erin Condren. I will link them down below just because I love them. I like that you can personalize them, make them kind of formatted to how you work the best and how your brain works the best. But honestly, if you pick one up at Target or the dollar store, or if you pick up literally, like, you can pick up one of the legal pads and just write things down in there. I also do a day-to-day to-do list on my notes app of my phone, so it does not have to be anything expensive or fancy, but have somewhere where you're writing things down. You know due dates, you know what you want to be doing on a day-to-day basis, because with online classes, yes, structure-wise it's very similar to an in-person class, but there's a little bit more of like a disconnect sometimes. You're not physically going in class to do things, and it's really helpful to have somewhere where, like, you know what's happening. And on top of that, for me, I just find having a day-to-day to-do list really helps me to stay on track of, like, my timing with things. Having that kind of system of, a planner and knowing when things are due and when you want to do things and all of that really helps to, like, I guess, ground you in the class, because you don't have, going in person to do that. And then, kind of on the same page is having a routine. So if that means that, you start your morning, and if it's, the class I'm in right now is a literature class. So if that means, every morning I do at least a little bit of whatever reading I'm on, or maybe it's when I'm done with work for the day, I do a little reading, or I do a piece of an assignment, or, whatever it is, but to have some sort of routine and, like, idea. And it doesn't have to necessarily be consistent exactly what you're doing each time. Like, you don't have to read 10 pages each time, but just to, like, have your brain prepared for, like, the different work you want to do when. And even if it's that you come up with that routine on a day-to-day basis and decide, okay, here's what my day looks like, here's how I can fit in the work I need to do, and you just prepare your brain to do it, so by the time it's time to do it, whatever, you know what I mean, your brain's already settled. You don't have to convince yourself to do it, if that makes sense. Again, I talk about there being this disconnect with an online class, and I think that can really lower motivation. It's a lot harder to kind of, like, for me at least, I know sometimes it can be harder to motivate yourself with a class when there's that disconnect, because sometimes it doesn't even feel like a real class because you're not going in to do it. And even, like, I really enjoy online classes. I don't really have a problem with them, but still you sometimes can, like, fall into that. So I think one way that you can, like, I guess adjust for that is the things I've talked about already, grounding yourself into the class and making it more real for yourself, but also just, find ways to motivate yourself for the class, whether it's having a buddy in the class, or, with this literature class, I enjoy literature. I enjoy my major so much that there is a part of, like, that motivation comes in from enjoying what I'm doing. But if it was like, I don't know, some math class, I would not have that. So, you can kind of create that, and maybe that's getting to check something off a to-do list. Literally best feeling in the world to be able to check something off a to-do list. So find ways to create that motivation if you don't have it, and obviously that is so much easier said than done, but just try and play around and find ways that you can kind of trick your brain into being motivated for, a class. And I found definitely, sometimes I can convince myself to be excited about the material. Sometimes the motivation is getting it done and I don't have to have it stuck on my brain anymore. And sometimes it's just being able to cross something off a to-do list, like that moment when I hit like my, I have it on my notes app where you can like click it and then it moves to the end. That's like such a great feeling for me. So whatever kind of works for you, you got to play around and figure out what's your best way to do that, but that definitely helps. And then again, like I've said it so many times during this video, but you're not in a class with a professor. You're not sitting there in front of the professor. So just as much as the professor feels kind of less real to you because you're like just getting the assignments and doing it, you feel less real to the professor because they're not sitting there staring at you lecturing. So, if you're having problems, if you're struggling in any way, reach out to the professor and communicate and just explain and, talk about whatever you need, because they're also human and they're also, in a disconnect, especially if they're not used to teaching online, because there are some professors that are, and this is, unexpected for them. So just stay in communication with them and, make yourself real and somebody that they want to help. So I hope that you guys find some of these tips helpful. If you have any of your own tips that I missed, let me know in the comment section. I'd love to hear them. And I will see you guys next week. Bye!